Well, hey there, welcome to Worth It Wednesday. Every Wednesday at Path for Growth, we send a whole group of you a principle worth learning, a question worth answering, and a recommendation worth taking. Today's principle is a business principle. It's that small systems, properly executed, are the building blocks of a healthy business. And I'll tell you where this principle kind of came to light for me and where it was really highlighted was I was at home for Thanksgiving in Houston, and I was staying at my parents' house, and the night before they had ordered a new Brita water pitcher, and they ordered it on Amazon the night before, and you know how this story goes. It's so kind of hilarious that it's a little bit cliche to tell you. It just blew my mind that I woke up the next morning at 5 a.m. and the Brita water pitcher, it was already on our front doorstep. And so you just think about how crazy is that? Like all of the just so many tiny steps that had to occur to receive the order, to process the order, to make sure that it aligned with the inventory, to make sure that it was geographically pinpointed, to get the Brita water pitcher onto a van, to make sure that that van had the proper place to go, to make sure that the delivery driver showed up on time, to make sure that the delivery driver knew the order in which he should optimally get things to the place that they need to go. Like, it should just freaking blow our mind that that happened once. But here's the crazy thing is it doesn't just happen once. It happens predictably, and it happens repeatedly. And we should see that and say, that is amazing. Like, that is incredible. We should marvel at it. But then after we're done marveling at it, we should also learn from it, and we should try and imitate it. And here's the thing that's important to recognize is so often whenever I approach my business or I see business owners approaching their business, we don't think like Amazon thought, because we say, I need to create a system for onboarding. I need to create a system for hiring, and I need to create a system for our team meetings. And the thought process is right. The thought process is absolutely right. Is you do need a system. You need a repeatable and predictable way. But onboarding is such a massive thing. Hiring is such a massive thing. And if you say we're just going to create a system for that, well, you're going to have a very broad, big system. And as a result, the results aren't going to be predictable because the system isn't going to be specific. And so what do we need to do? Well, we need to break it down into smaller pieces. Now, you may need to start broad, but you just can't stay broad is what I'm talking about here. We need to break it down into smaller pieces, and instead of saying I need to systemize hiring, we need to say, well, what does it look like to systemize and operationalize the first interview of the hiring process? And so what does it mean to operationalize something? Well, we teach this, and you could look back at past Worth It Wednesday videos, or this is something that we teach a lot on the podcast or within the Path for Good community. There's 4 steps to operationalizing something. Standardizing it. What does winning look like? Written clearly, specifically for every role, project, and meeting. You document it. You make sure that that description of what winning looks like is clearly documented in a manner that is, again, simple and clear, but also accessible by the entire team. Standardize, document, evaluate. We have a system for rhythmically evaluating how performance is completed according to the standard, and then improve. We're constantly engaging in that lean idea of never-ending improvement. So we're going to operationalize, we're going to systemize small pieces. We're going to take something like the first interview of the hiring process, and we're going to standardize, document, evaluate, improve. Now, here's where this is so cool. What does the principle say? It says that small systems are the building blocks of a healthy business. One of the things that I'm really learning as a benchmark of healthy business is that a business is healthy whenever the owner can watch the business grow while their stress level decreases. And I want to tell you real quick, like, if you don't believe that's possible, well, if you don't believe it's possible, you're absolutely right. But the minute you decide to believe that it's possible, and then you just start asking the question, how could I? You're also absolutely right. And what's so cool is that I think this is one of the fundamental pieces of that idea of building a healthy business, is if you can put systems in place for the small pieces, the micro steps of your business, and you can operationalize those small steps, those small areas, and more than you operationalizing it, you create a culture across your entire team where everyone is standardizing, documenting, evaluating, improving these small areas of the business. Well, what you're going to see happen is the things that stress you out, the micro mistakes, the little missed balls, that customers that didn't get treated correctly, the order that didn't get processed correctly, the things that people weren't aware of so they didn't do, the expectations that were never spoken, the standards that were never reached, all those little things that distract you, that deviate you, that frustrate you, that cause you to be stressed out, you're gonna see that number of things and that list of things decrease and decrease and decrease, because exceptional performance is something that you've said, okay, we're not gonna make that haphazard anymore. We're gonna make it intentional and predictable and repeatable, because small systems are the building blocks of a healthy business. Y'all, if you wanna get on this email list, you can sign up at pathforgrowth.com. Have a killer Wednesday.